So, you're studying for your AP Gov exams, or you just stumbled this on YouTube, and you want to know about the liberal ideology from a high school student that's recording this at 3:55 in the morning. Well, you've come to the right place. Today we're going to be talking about the liberal ideology, and as you'll see, we're just going to be talking about general concepts and ideas that liberals have when it comes to certain policies. So, without further ado, let's start. So, the marketplace, also known as the big evil corporations. So, a big thing liberals stand for is regulation of corporations. That's like one of their big things. So, a lot of these times these regulations come for consumer protections, and they're tougher on businesses when it comes to what they can put out, and also taxes and any, as you'll see, there's more regulations on businesses. This is again to protect more of the consumer and who's using these corporations products. So that's one thing that they're very big for, is regulation on corporations and any other type of business for that matter. So a lot of red tape, a lot of paperwork, a lot of things you have to go through to make sure everybody is safe. Taxation, usually the one of the biggest uh planks or something that both liberals and conservatives run on, either to lower taxes or increase taxes. A lot of the time liberals say that they will decrease taxes for poor people and increase taxes for the rich, as you can see on my on the screen, because they have more money. That's a lot of the times the reasoning behind it. You can see the meme, which I'm sure is going to be outdated by the time you're watching this, that says, we give tax breaks to the rich then have more money, the rich pocket the money, and a lot of the times that's what happens currently when richer people get tax cuts. Um, Conservatives usually expect that the rich will actually help the community if they have more money, but in reality, they end up pocketing the money. So that's why liberals believe, instead of um, giving rich people tax cuts, they should instead increase the taxes on them, so that so that the government can use that money as they see fit. Um, Again, they're tougher on businesses when it comes to taxation. So, bigger businesses should be taxed more. There was like the scandal with Amazon that they wanted tax cuts to whatever state they moved on, but liberals would believe that they should instead get should be taxed more because they have bigger revenue. Um, and again, as I'll move on to the slide, they want to use these taxes to help. The government should use this. They think liberals think that the government should use this tax money to help out in the community again. So what they use your parents' tax money for. Um, so they believe a lot in social services, so Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. These social services should be used to help the people in need in the country. So instead of the 1% holding all the wealth, we should instead distribute the wealth. And again, this is done by taxing richer corporations and richer individuals, and using that tax money for the greater good, as they would see it. They think that defense spending should go down because it doesn't help as much as anything as social service spending would help. So a lot of the times they don't want to spend money on or more money on military, or even, as you can see in that picture, the corporate subsidies, where right now we spend a lot more money on that instead of spending money on social welfare programs and such. They also believe for more help for the accused. So out of the so they want to protect the Fourth Amendment and the exclusionary rule. Those are things that they're big on. Um, and if they can put tax money aside, or any type of incentive for certain states to protect more of the Fourth Amendment, the exclusionary rule they will, and privacy. This is another thing that liberals are really big on. Besides, it's like the opposite. So they're very big on regulation on the business side, but they believe that regulation should be less when it comes to social freedoms. As I said, they shouldn't be regulated. So things like abortion, same-sex marriage, or any type of marriage for that matter, um, shouldn't be regulated because, as I said, like it's not the government's business. Um, a lot of liberals, you'll hear them say like the idea of separation of church and state, which was supported by Engle v. Vitale. Um, this separation means that certain things, like a lot of the times when it comes to abortion and marriage, all of those things are supported by conservatives through the Bible or any other type of religious belief, but liberals believe that that shouldn't go in that shouldn't go into account when making that decision, and instead the government shouldn't regulate it at all, and people should be free to do as they choose when it comes to their social and personal freedoms. um yes. Education. Chipotle's about life has nothing to do with it. I just want to put it in there, but okay. So again, this is another thing where liberals believe in a lot of regulation. So public education is key. This is seen through a lot of major platforms right now. A lot of major candidates that are running or were running, depending when you were watching in the 2020 election. Um, a lot of liberal candidates are running on the idea of free college education and better public education overall, even paying teachers more. That's a big Kamala Harris platform or plank right now. So they do believe in more spending on public education and more regulation for public education because um, they think the better the public education is, the less need for private education, and the likelihood that more people will benefit overall in the long run. Um, yeah, so they also don't believe in vouchers because if we spend vouchers are just money we give people or the government gives people for them to go to a private school if they can't afford to go to private school. And they don't believe in vouchers because if we spend more money on vouchers and to send people to private school, we could spend that same money in public school so they don't have to go through a private school. So, um, yeah, so they believe in a lot of public education regulation and spending. So it just becomes a better public education for everybody and everybody has an access to it. So the biggest like take from this video should have been that um liberals believe in a lot of economical regulation but not social regulation.